Hey everybody, Mr. Covey here, and this is Mind Blowing Mondays number 5 on factoring, where the leading coefficient is not equal to 1. This was a little bit harder type of factoring. Okay, I'm just going to go through a couple of problems with you. I'm going to show you 2 ways to do this. One is the way that I do it, and I'd recommend it. The other way is the way that you might have learned it in middle school, or maybe reviewed it in your AAA class, which is a good backup option, but it'd be better if we could do this a little bit more efficiently. So the way that I do it is I'm trying to factor this. There's no GCF, and there's a leading coefficient that's not 1, and so I know it's this more difficult type of factor. I know it's going to factor into 2 binomials. I know that I have to have an x and an x here to give me an x squared. And I know because it's a 2x squared, the only 2 numbers that multiply to 2 are only 2 positive integers, are 2 and 1. So I'm going to have a 2x and an x. And now I'm going to try and guess 2 numbers that go here and here. These 2 numbers have to multiply to negative 21. I'm going to simply guess negative 21 and positive 1. The way I'm going to check if this is right is I know that what I have written down gives me 2x squared. And I know that it gives me negative 21. What I don't know is that it gives me the correct middle term. And the middle term comes from inner, inner, and outer, outer. So I'm going to check quickly in my head. Is negative 21 times x plus 2x times 1 x? Well, no, that'd be negative 21x plus 2x, which is negative 19x. That is not correct. So then I'm going to try different numbers there. So now I'm going to keep guessing, and I can check them pretty quick. I'm going to try positive 7, negative 3. 7x minus 6x, that's x. So I factored it. That's how I factor. That's how I recommend factoring coming into your calculus class next year. The alternative way to factor is called split the middle, is what a lot of you guys call it, and I will run through that with you. Okay, what that involves is looking for 2 numbers that add to 1 and multiply not to negative 21, but since you have that leading coefficient, they have to multiply to negative 42. So you got to take that a and multiply it by the c. That tells you what your 2 numbers are going to multiply to. So I think of 2 numbers that multiply to negative 42 and add to 7, and eventually you should land on 7 and negative 6. And then I split the middle. I split that 1x into 7x and negative 6x. I drag down this there, and then I group together these 2, and I group together these 2, and I take out a greatest common factor. What I'm doing now is factoring by grouping, which might be familiar. So I look at those 2, what they have in common. Well, they both have an x. What am I left with? 2x plus 7. Looking at the second group, what do they have in common? Well, I can take a 3 out of both of them. Take a negative 3 out of both of them. I'm left with 2x plus 7. Finally, looking at this, these 2 things are the same. That's how I know this is working correctly. That is one of my factors. And I take the GCFs, the greatest common factors that I took out before, and that tells me the other factor. So that process, if you want to rewind this and watch that again, is called split the middle, is what a lot of you guys call it. So you split the middle, and then you use grouping to go from there. It gives you the same answer: x minus 3, 2x plus 7, x minus 3, 2x plus 7. I'd recommend this above way. And that's the way I'm going to kind of model factoring when I do it. Cool. Let's do another problem. 3x squared plus 12x minus 15. This one's actually easy. Why is this easy? Well, it's got a leading coefficient of 3, but I can take out a GCF. Awesome. Cool. So just because you have a leading coefficient doesn't mean it's necessarily going to be hard factoring, that harder factoring, if that leading coefficient can be taken out as a GCF. Because now, I didn't factor this. What multiplies the negative 5 and adds to 4? 5 and negative 1. Boom. I'm done. Okay? So remember, whenever you're factoring, the very first step is look for a greatest common factor. It can make your life a lot easier. Last one. Ooh, can't take out a greatest common factor, so this is going to be that harder type of factoring. I'm going to put down my binomials. I have to get a 3x squared. It's got to be a 3x and an x. There's no other options there. These two numbers, oops, sorry. These two numbers, the blue and the red, have to multiply to -10, and I'm just going to start guessing. -5 and +2. Would that give me the correct middle term? Would that be -5x plus 6x? No, that'd be positive x, but I'm close. That'd be 1x. I want -1x. So what am I going to do? I'm just going to flip the signs. I make that one the positive one and this one the negative. I'm guessing and checking. 5x, -6x, that adds up to -x. To clarify, I am guessing and checking. That is called factoring by guessing and checking. There's only so many numbers that multiply to -10. 5 and -2, -2, or sorry, 5 and -2, -5 and 2, 10 and -1, -10 and +1. I have to flip around where they are. But if you make an educated guessing check, not just randomly putting them there, you should be able to narrow it down kind of quickly. Thanks for watching this video. That concludes. Thank you.